Good afternoon, students. So today in this presentation, we'll see about multi-threaded programming, fourth module of OOC. So in this presentation, we are going to cover what are threads, what is the main job of a multi-threaded programming concept, then what is a main thread, how to create a thread, and how to make use of multiple threads in the program. So we'll see what are threads. A single or a sequential flow of execution of a program is called as a thread. Java provides built-in support for multi-threaded programming. A multi-threaded program contains two or more parts that can run concurrently. Each part of such a program is called as a thread, and each thread defines a separate path of execution. Thus, multi-threading is a specialized form of a multitasking. So, multitasking is nothing but execution of multiple tasks concurrently. Same way, multi-threading is nothing but what? Creating or dividing a single task into the multiple number of a task and assigning each task to each thread for concurrent execution. Multi-threading enables you to write very efficient programs that make maximum use of the CPU because idle time can be kept to a minimum. Multitasking threads require less overhead than the multitasking processing. Thread class and the runnable interface. Java's multi-threading system is built upon the thread class, its methods, and its companion interface runnable. So if you want to implement this multi-threading concept into the Java, you should make use of a thread class. So the thread class defines several methods that help manage the threads. So we have a getName method, which is used to obtain the thread's name. Then getPriority, used to obtain the thread's priority. IsAlive, to determine if a thread is still running. Join, used to wait for a thread to terminate. Run, which is called as an entry point for thread. Slip, suspend a thread for a period of a time. Start a thread by calling its run method. So out of this, whenever you will be writing a program for creation of a thread, there are two basic methods you should use in the program. One is a start, another is a run. So in the run method, you have to write what task you want to implement it, and start you have to call it in the program so as to run the run method of the thread class. Next is the main thread. So as soon as when your program is started the execution, the main thread is automatically created. So whatever the programs till now you have executed, all those Java programs are run on a main thread. The main thread is important for two reasons. It is the thread from which other child threads will be swamped. Often it must be the last thread to finish execution because it performs various shutdown actions. So first one, if there is a main method, then other child threads can start their execution. This is the first reason. And second reason is that there are some shutdown actions the main thread has to be performed before the last thread to finish the task. So for that purpose, main thread is important. So if you, as I told, main thread is automatically created when your program is started. It can be controlled through a thread object. So if you want to control the main thread, you have to obtain a reference to it by calling the current thread method of the thread class. And the syntax of the current thread is static thread current thread. Static, the function is a static function, so you need not to create the object of the class. You can directly call the current thread method, and the return type is a thread, which is going to the object of the thread class. So here we'll see one example how to control the main thread. So we have defined a class called as a current thread demo, in which we have written a main function. Then we have created the object thread t is equal to thread dot current thread. Remember, thread is a predefined class. You need not to define it. It's already been defined, which consists of so many methods already we have seen. Now current thread is a method. We are using it to refer to the main thread. So after storing the value of a thread in t, we have displayed the thread name. If you want to change the default name of a thread, you can make use of a set name into bracket what the name you want to give it to the thread. Then after changing the name, once again you display the details of the thread. Then we have given a one task to this main method is the display of the numbers from 5 to 1. So once a one number is displayed, we are telling that thread to slip it for 1000 milliseconds, nothing but 1 second. Then you continue for displaying the next number, again slip it for 1 second, next number, slip it for 1 second, like that. But whenever you'll be making use of this slip method of a thread, remember it throws an exception called as an interrupted exception. So that's why whenever you'll be using the slip method of a thread, you have to make use of a try and a catch block. So when you run this program, you'll be able to see the output like this. So first we have displayed the default name of a thread. So it is displayed like this, thread into pair of a square bracket. So the default name of the thread is a main. Then the priority, the default priority for thread is a 5. Then name is a name of the group thread. So once you change the name of the thread, you will be getting output like thread, my thread, main you have changed to my thread. The default priority of the thread is a 5 and the group name is a 5. So after that, we have displayed the numbers from 5 to 1. When you run this program, you will first be able to see 5, then after 1 second 4, after 1 second 3, 2, 1, like that. Okay. So this is the general form of a slip method, static void slip. The parameter which you are passing it to the slip method, it's in milliseconds, which throws the interrupted exception. The number of milliseconds to suspend is specified in milliseconds. This method may throw an interrupted exception. Okay, now if you want to create a thread in your program, there are two ways. One, implementing the runnable interface. Second is extending the thread class itself. So by using these two methods, you can go for creating a thread in the program. So we'll see both the methods in detail. So first one is implementing runnable interface. The easiest way to create a thread is to create a class that implements the runnable interface. Remember, already we have studied in the last presentation what is an interface. Remember, interface is nothing but just like a class which includes the final fields, nothing but a constant fields and abstract methods. Abstract methods are the nothing but the methods which do not have an implementation part. So in this runnable interface, there is a one single method available called as a run. As it's an abstract method, it do not have an implementation part. So your job in this one is to create a class which implements the runnable interface, in which you are providing a body for the run method. So the syntax of the run method in the runnable interface is like this: public void run, which do not take any parameters. And apart from that, thread defines several constructors. You can go for the default constructor, which do not take any parameters. You can go for a parameterized constructor, where the thread takes two types of parameters. One is runnable, that is the name of the interface, and the thread name, which is of type string. So after the new thread is created, remember, it will not start executing until and unless you call the start method of a thread class. So in essence, start executes a call to the run, and the syntax of start is like this: void start. So we'll see this one by creating a one program. So we have created a class called as a new thread, which implements a runnable interface. So in this runnable interface, it takes a one field of type thread. We have written a default constructor in which we have created an object of the thread t is equal to new thread this comma demo thread. Now demo thread is the name of the thread we have specified. Then system.out.println display the default whatever the thread information is there. Then you call the start method. So once you call the start method, remember it is in turn is going to call the run method. So in the run method, what we have done, we have again displayed the numbers from 5 to 1, and we have told that thread to slip it for half millisecond. Sorry, 500 millisecond, it's a half second. As slip method throws an exception, so we have written those statements within a try and a catch, interrupted exception. Okay, then we have written a one more class called as a thread demo, in which we have written a main method. We have created the object of this class, new thread, without giving a name to it. Then, so now when you call this new thread, it is going to call the default constructor in which the thread is created with the name demo thread. So that information will be able to display over here. And when it calls the start method, it's going to jump, the control of the program jumps to the run method first statement. Okay, so in the main method, again we have given another task, that is displaying the numbers from 5 to 1. But in this main thread, we have told the thread to slip it for 1 second, that is 1000 milliseconds. So in that case, so when the main thread runs, it's going to display a 1 number. Then the control jumps to the child thread, which is going to display the 2 numbers. Then 1 number from the main thread, 2 numbers from the child thread. Like that, the output you will be able to see it here. So first, child thread is created by giving a name it as a demo thread. The default priority is 5, and the group of the main thread is a main. Then one main thread, one iteration of the main thread is executed by displaying the value as a 5. Then 2 iterations of a child thread executed, that is 5, 4. Then main thread 4, child thread 3, 2, main thread 3, child thread 1. Then child thread terminates the execution. Then remaining part from the main thread are going to be executed. So this is like the output of the program. So this is a one way to create a thread by implementing the runnable interface. So there is another way to create a thread in your program, that is extending the thread class. As already I have told that there is a predefined class as a thread. So your job is to create a new class which extends that thread class. So the second way to create a thread is to create a new class that extends thread, and then to create an instance of that class. The extending class must override the run method, which is the entry point for the new thread. It must also call the start method to begin execution of the new thread. Remember, you have to create a class which extends the thread class. In that thread class, you have to define the method called as a run, which you need to override it, because the default implementation in the thread class is already available. You need to override it. So once you override the run method, you need to call the start method to start the execution of the newly created thread. So here is example. Same example, whatever we have seen, by implementing the runnable interface, same example, only that The difference is here that class new thread extends thread. There we used class new thread implements runnable. Here it's class new thread extends thread. Again, we have defined the default constructor. Super is a keyword we have used to call the constructor of the super class, as the super class name is a thread over here. So we have given a name it as a demo thread, and we have called the start method. As start method is already defined in a thread class, you can directly call in the subclass. So we have defined the body for the run method. Same again, we have displayed the numbers from 5 to 1 by telling the thread to slip it for half seconds. Then we created a child thread in the main thread by calling new thread, which is going to create a new thread. The name of the thread will be assigned to demo thread, and it calls the run method. So once it calls the run method, it is going to display you child thread task values, whatever you have defined in the function. Then you have given a one more task to the main thread, nothing but display the values from 5 to 1 again by telling the thread to slip it for 1 second. So now if you see, the output of the program is same as that of the before. Only the way of calling the program is different. Okay, then it's creating multiple threads. So within a single program, you can create multiple number of threads, and when you create multiple number of threads, then the execution of the program or output of the program is not in your hand. It is based on the jumping of the control of the program from one thread to another thread. Here we have used the first method, that is class new thread, implements the runnable interface. Then there are two fields we have taken. One is a string name, another is a thread tree. Here we have used the single parameterized constructor, that is new thread string thread name. Thread name is equal to assign it to name, create an object of the thread, then display the information of a thread, then you call the start method. Then as you want to call the start method in the same class, you should go for providing the body for the run method. So now if you see in the run method, what we have done, we have displayed the numbers from 5 to 1 again by telling the thread to slip it for 1 second. Now class multi-thread demo, in which we have included a main method. Here we have created three threads, and the name of the threads are 1, 2, 3. So when the first thread is created, it is going to call the default this parameterized constructor, and the thread name will be one, so it will be assigned to name, and the same information you will be able to see it over here. For the second thread, its a name is a TWO2, and for third is a THREE3. And what we have done in a main thread, that we have told the main thread to slip it for 10 seconds. Why it's a 10 seconds? Because main thread has to end at the last, because it has to do some shutdown tasks. So we have created the 3 child threads, and until and unless these 3 child thread completes their execution, main thread do not have authority to complete its task. So we have told the thread to slip it for 10 seconds. So before 10 seconds, all the 3 threads will complete their task, and at the last, the main thread will terminate. So now if you see the output of the program, it's a new thread, thread 1, 5, main, then thread 2, 5, main, 3, 5, main. Then the first thread started the execution, which displays the value 5. Then the second thread 5, third thread 5. Then once again, first thread takes the charge, displays the value 4, the second thread 4, third thread 4. Then again, first thread takes the charge, 3, 3, 3. Now if you see, for the third iteration, before the second takes the charge, third thread have already taken the charge, and it displays you 3. It displays you 3 first, then the second one. Here for second iteration again, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, then 1, 3, 2. After that, 1 is exiting, 2 is exiting, 3 is exiting. After finishing all the 3 threads, the main is going to exit. So this is what the creating multiple thread task example. So this is for today's presentation. Further, we'll continue with the next presentation.